Hello and welcome to another episode of The Pursuit of Being a Stand-Up Leader. I'm Jared Wittman with Wittman Media, and I'm here with John Russell of The Business Source. If this is your first episode, there's a lot of other episodes, but we are breaking down John's book, the Be a Stand-Up Leader, the ABCs of getting the job done right.
Compared to the title of our podcast,
I get it one of these times,
which is the pursuit
of being a stand-up leader.
Yeah, we always have fun with it.
It's always a great conversation. Today's topic is leads.
In sales, leads are everything. You can't sell anything if you don't have a lead.
I think in business.
And leads are any opportunity to do business with a new customer. Would you agree?
Yeah.
So I thought this was an interesting chapter, and not many people talk about leads because it's just part of the sales process. It's part of the business world. And in my opinion, of all the challenges we face in business owners face perhaps the biggest obstacle of all in getting new customers. Now, I've been told, oh, you'll have plenty of customers. Don't worry, your problem will be on collections, or your problem will be with accounting, or your problem will be, you'll never have a problem with leads. I don't believe that.
Yeah.
I think leads are the biggest pain in the butt.
Yeah.
Because you got to work to get them.
Right.
You got to spend money to get them.
Yep.
You got to advertise to get them. You got to be in marketing. You got to have salespeople in the field. There's all these extenuating circumstances that have to come together in order for that to work.
And if you're a solopreneur, you're doing all that stuff yourself. You're building the marketing content. You're building the content strategy, short form, long form marketing.
It's brutal.
Networking, just so much. And then running your business and doing all these other things. Right. Oh my gosh.
Right.
So much fun.
Getting a lead is just a hope and a prayer.
Yeah.
That doesn't mean anything as far as whether or not it's ever going to turn into a contract.
Right.
So, business owners get 5 to 10 phone calls and emails per week from solicitors that want to sell them new customer leads.
Right.
I have that happen all the time. My phone screen and my email spam screen is on all the time because everybody wants to sell you a lead generation system.
Right.
It's the greatest new thing, but you ask them to guarantee their product?
Yeah, they can't.
Nobody will.
Yeah.
And for me, right there, says it all. You don't believe in your product enough to guarantee it. So why would I want to invest in it? I'm going to give you my money. You're going to walk away, and I'm going to hope in a prayer that I'm going to get new customers from you.
Yeah.
I think that's a bad business model.
I think there's a lot of lead generation business out there that are also pay to play, where you have to pay so much, and then they'll send you a lead, but they're also sending that lead to 3 other businesses, and whichever business answers the phone first gets the lead, but you still have to pay for the lead.
Right.
That's ridiculous.
You remember Angie's List?
That's what I was talking about.
I was working with a couple of home service companies,
yeah.
and they call and they say, hey, it's free to put an ad in here, right?
Sure. But
then after you get the ad in, your placement drops to page number 10.
Yeah.
And they're like, well, do you want to be on the first page?
Yeah.
Now it's going to cost you $1,000 a month.
Yeah.
And I felt like that was a scam, and it's still a scam.
I feel that way too.
And I'm not really interested in participating. I know that there are businesses that use it successfully.
Yeah.
But it just doesn't seem right for me.
If you have the process in place on how, when a lead comes in, how you're going to, you have to 3 minutes or less, you should be on top of that lead, and then you should be able to close that lead. Then, then it'll be beneficial for you. But most businesses don't have those processes in place in order to capture the leads that are coming in effectively on a pay-to-play program.
You know what I like about being a solopreneur?
What?
When somebody calls, I answer the phone.
That's true.
I don't have to worry about blowing a lead.
Yeah.
The fact of the matter is if I get the call, if I get the email, it's covered.
Yeah.
Now we have to talk about qualifying leads.
This is a good, let's talk about this.
Okay, so in the book, page 124 under leads, it says, ask yourself, what's your approach to qualify these leads to make sure they're a good fit for your company? if you don't have a qualification process in your mind,
Yeah.
and it's a series of questions ultimately to
Yep.
determine why are you interested, what's your motivation, tell me about your business, why'd you call me, what are you looking to accomplish. You can go through the whole list of
Right.
questions.
Yeah.
It's kind of like a client needs analysis on the front end, but it's a qualifications questionnaire.
Yeah. Make sure that you are getting the right information and that you're able to work with that customer.
Yeah,
You don't,
because you don't want to start a business with somebody who you can't help.
correct. Yeah. Yeah. Because then you're in a awkward situation, and uh I don't know where it's
So
going,
you
but
get a lead and you're like, I want the cash, I want the contract, I need the money. But the lead's not a good fit. And you get in and you fail and it just goes to pieces.
all right, that's where I was going. I think that like when you're first starting off, especially in my business where it's like video based, there's a lot of different videos out there. One video I will not do ever is weddings. So if a couple people ask me if I want to do a wedding,
Check.
it was just a hard no.
No.
Hard no. There's enough people out there. But like as I've kind of like worked with 30 different companies this past year doing different video topics, I realized, okay, I don't really care for this
Right.
business.
Exactly.
And so now I'm, making sure that the qualification is here, and I'm going to focus on this business because I have more experience in it.
And more passion for it.
Yes.
You love business.
Yes.
You love business videos.
Yeah.
You love videos for business.
Yeah.
YouTube, LinkedIn, social media. It's a lot more beneficial
Yeah.
to develop a video presence online when you're in business and it actually is taking you someplace and building an audience ultimately. Yeah. One of the things that we talked about before, because your clients are a little different than my clients, Google pay-per-click.
Yeah.
Now, instant leads, right?
Yeah.
Put the money in, it's a lead machine.
Yeah.
Put the money in, get the leads out, right?
Yeah.
And so we've had different conversations about, okay, well, what is that business doing to establish a baseline relationship, aka branding,
right,
with the customers in that market?
Yeah.
And the answer is, well, they're all on pay-per-click.
Yeah.
And they're getting a ton of business. And my point is, what relationship do they have with the customer besides click and go?
Yeah, I think like a pay-per-click lead is not a great lead.
It's not the same as somebody calling you up.
Correct. Yeah.
Saying, I want to do business with you.
If you have if they saw your brand 4 or 5 or 7 different areas,
right,
and you're sharing all of these concepts of like, I work with home service companies a lot. So if you're sharing the pain points that they may be experiencing and why they may be experiencing them through your marketing,
right,
and now they're calling you because they're like, oh yeah, this is happening, instead of being top of mind, like my plumbing, I have a burst pipe, and I need whoever can come in and fix. I think building that brand connection with the customer over a long period of time is going to serve you up with much more high quality leads than focusing on pay-per-click, where you're just buying the leads because people are needing that information.
Much less qualified.
Yeah.
So here's another thought. This opens up a whole different line of thinking for me. Is it better to have somebody call you and ask for help and have them say they've heard about you before and they know a little bit about you than just a pay-per-click type ad?
Yeah, I think if someone has recognized the brand and sees the brand around, that's going to lend to a better relationship. Whereas if they just search plumbing needs and
anybody
the first company that came up and they had a decent amount of views.
Plumbing.
Yeah. Yeah, you had a decent amount of views or reviews.
Right.
I'm gonna go with you and get a price, and I just need someone to plug this pipe that's leaking.
Right. So, as a business owner, as a stand-up leader, how do you allocate a portion of your ad budget to lead generation? How do you decide how much is going to go into digital, which there's a place for Google pay-per-click?
Yeah.
How much do you put towards Google pay-per-click, and how much do you do you dedicate towards radio,
All the
television,
traditional.
traditional
Yeah.
media, outdoor,
Yeah.
direct
Right.
mail,
Yeah. Top of mind awareness
yeah,
branding.
where you're being proactive
Yeah.
and you're gently massaging and sharing your commitment, your point of differentiation, why you exist as a business, what your customer service promises, where there's some language being put forth out into the market
Yeah.
versus
All the other.
free plumbing checkup.
Right. I like to tell my clients to have 40% in digital
Okay.
and then 60% in everything else.
Okay.
If your digital is above your other messaging, well, similar, it's like one of my clients that's where they're at. So now my job is to even it out and eventually grow brand awareness and grow market share.
We talked about the shift.
Yeah.
So that you're not dependent on that, I'll call it Google pay-per-click heroin.
Yeah.
Where it's like, oh, I got to have another injection of pay-per-click.
And here's the thing. What is your marketing strategy if Google goes away?
Yeah.
So
what are you left with?
What are you left with?
What do people know about you?
Yeah. So if you don't have a strategic marketing strategy, a strategic marketing plan that is going to hit the right demographics, the most qualified customers that you can in all these different levels. If you're just focusing on like billboards that are sporadically around, if you're not like getting really dialed in and differentiating your marketing strategy, if Google and you're relying on Google and Google just disappears,
right,
well, then you're kind of SOL because you got nothing.
Right.
So it's really important to make sure that you know who your customers are,
right,
know where they're at,
right,
and then market the heck out of getting your brand in front of those qualified customers, the best customers, the prime customers that are going to be able to or want to afford your services and be in need of your services.
Yeah, I'd also encourage you to track your incoming contacts, your incoming leads.
Yes.
And track the proposals that you push out to determine, what am I getting out of pay-per-click?
Yeah.
What am I getting out of my regular branding campaigns?
If you have the ability and you have a CRM, if you have the ability to have tracking numbers for all your different campaigns, that allows you to look at the data. Hey, we have this many customers that came from this much. It cost us this much, but we got this much revenue. Our ROI on this tactic was 35%. One of the things that I did at my previous job was I went in and I was looking at, why are we still in this newspaper thing? Why are we still in here? It's like, it's dead, right? But I was told
Not dead,
that
it's just old.
Okay, I'm sorry, John. I'm sorry.
Dead means they don't exist anymore.
Okay, so it's old.
Right,
it's on its way out.
It's less than.
But I was told the owner of the business told me, no, we actually generate a lot of revenue from that, and we did for about 2.5 years.
It still works,
and then it dropped off, and we're like, okay, well now
it's less efficient.
It's not worth the investment.
Right, when the newspaper goes digital, that's a big signal.
Right, yeah.
So how do you know what your closing rate is? You get leads in off of pay-per-click.
Yeah.
And let's say you get 10 leads, it leads to one contract, you got 10% closing ratio. And then you got your branding campaign where people are calling you up and they're bringing you in. Okay, so all I'm saying is track your closing ratio for digital and track your closing ratio for
everything.
For branding campaigns. And then everything. Yeah. So then how can you develop sales projections if you don't know what your closing percentage is? I get 10 leads, I close 10%. Average contract is $100. So I know that if I get 10 leads, I'm going to make $100.
Yeah.
Run the numbers.
Yeah.
If you're not doing that, we'll show you how.
Yeah.
It takes a little bit to keep track of, but it's not that big a deal. So all I'm suggesting is if you're too heavily involved in digital, and have no branding, or if you're too heavily involved in branding and have no digital, we can help you wean yourself off of digital more so, or wean yourself off of whatever you've been doing too much of,
Right.
and help you bring a blend of both digital and traditional together so that you're actually getting leads off of both ends of the system. And you can track your leads and proposals and really begin to run the numbers out
Yeah.
so you can project how much you're going to be making.
I think like if you're struggling with your marketing strategy, if you're struggling with your marketing plan, or you're not sure what to do with marketing, or don't understand marketing, because marketing is a beast and there's a lot that goes into it, and there's so many options and variables and all these different tactics and tools and how you can utilize any of that, or
How do you get the most for your money?
correct, yeah, how can you be the most efficient with the money that you have for
Right.
marketing? If you need help with that, reach out to John or I, and we would both love to have a conversation with you to help you work through some of your questions.
So, one of the things that I'm pointing out in the book is developing a lead generation process without getting scammed by pay per lead service providers. Angie's List.
Yeah,
And maybe there's a couple others.
I think
I'm not saying that they aren't good. They are good for some businesses, but you have to be careful not to fall into that trap where that's the only thing you're relying on to get new business. So develop your own internal lead generation system by working with us, Jared and me, by optimizing your website for search and dedicating resources to generate new customer leads. It's not that difficult, but it does require working with somebody who has experience in both digital and branding, traditional branding, and it can be done. And I think you'll find that if you have a better balance of incoming leads and a system for pre-qualifying and have good salespeople to follow through and do all the right things, leads becomes a good part of your business,
Yeah.
instead of a challenge
Right.
that never goes away.
Yeah.
So thank you for being with us today. Generating leads is an important part of your sales and marketing process. If you're struggling with that, give us a call and we'll help you get it squared away. Thanks for being with us.